Hello, this video is about Self-Chill Poison Lightning Strike Pathfinder. Pathfinder is one of the best candidates for a poison build due to its improved withered effect, poison proliferation, and more poison damage. It's also the ascendancy that specializes in flask effect and flask charges gained, allowing us to have all our utility flasks constantly affect the character. The poison damage is delivered via a pneumatic dagger with a lot of added elemental damage. Usually, only physical and chaos damage can cause poison, but this experimented weapon lets us poison with any attack damage caused by it. It's an unorthodox, but efficient way to get more base damage. The self-chill builds are known for having very high action speed due to the reverse chill effect, achievable by wearing a winterweave ring. It's hard to overstate how effective the action speed is when it comes to attack rate. It results in a lot of poison stacks, thus more damage. The build employs the combination of Tempered by War and Divine Flesh keystones to take no cold nor lighting damage, and to have superb resistance to both fire and chaos. The poison that is reflected back will deal no damage to the character with a specific Watcher's Eye modifier. The attack we've chosen is Lightning Strike, as you can use it with a dagger. It has excellent AoE and can target enemies far from you with projectiles. With extra targeting for strike skills from an attack mastery and returning projectiles, we'll be able to deal additional damage with each strike. The build makes use of one of the strongest defensive mechanics in the game, which is shifting a portion of incoming damage to be taken as other types of damage. It's fire and chaos damage in our case. Almost no physical damage will be taken too if your budget allows you for it. Clear speed is good due to the fast and numerous projectiles combined with Master Toxicist and Inverted Chill. Boss damage is less pronounced. It requires stacking up tons of poisons to start dealing poison damage to the enemy. It's very costly. Quite a few of the items are double-digit divine sort of expensive. The build requires a lot of uniques. Nearly all of the ones listed here are mandatory. The goal is to shift all incoming damage to chaos or fire damage. It's hard to do so with physical, but we've managed to take 84% of it as fire too. All the fire resistances will be provided with the Cloak of Flame and a ruby flask. Chaos resistance is sourced from the Golden Rule and Progenesis, but it's crucial to have some extra for when you're not poisoned. Mahukzadal's Machination is used for the plus 5% to all maximum resistances, and to shift half of all elemental damage to be taken as chaos. Tempered by War Keystone from Lethal Pride will shift the remaining cold and lightning damage to be taken as fire. This way you will take only fire, chaos, and a bit of physical damage. It only requires Life Leech to work. You can corrupt it for a chance to gain 8% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. Cloak of Flame makes you take 40% of physical damage as fire. It's better than Lightning Coil as it prevents not only hit damage but also physical dots, and grants tons of fire resistance. Snakebite will provide you with a lot of accuracy and poison chance, which should be 100% after combining it with Icefang Orbit and a few small nodes on a skill tree. It's also a source of dot multiplier for poison. Remember to corrupt them for the temporal chains on hit curse. Casting it manually is horrible. If you have good Abyss Jewels, go for the Darkness Enthroned. This way you can get more life, strength, resistances, and also added damage to attacks. Grace's version of Owl's Uprising is the best pick as the dexterity variants improve your flask charges gain. Additionally, it gives you some life. Icefang Orbit Ring makes you chilled while you're poisoned, which is important for a self-chill build. You will become poisoned while hitting an enemy via the Golden Rule. It also chills your enemies. Winterweave is a very important ring that reverses the effect of chill on you, granting you up to 30% increased action speed, which increases the speed of your attack and movement. Lethal Pride provides you with strength and Tempered by War Keystone that shifts cold and lightning damage to be taken as fire damage. You will no longer need cold and lightning resistances at all. What's also important to note is the possibility of improving your notables with 5% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. You may find one or two of these if you socket it near the Supreme Ego Keystone. The Golden Rule reflects your poisons back to you until you have 100 of them. It basically caps your chaos resistance, and combined with Icefang Orbit, grants you permanent chill effect. It is worth considering to pick up a mod to be unaffected by poison. There are 2 good mods to look for in a Watcher's Eye: unaffected by poison, from Malevolence, and 10% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage, from Purity of Fire. Try to get both. Your maximum fire and chaos resistance should be around 85%. The life recovery comes from Life Flask and Life Leech. You can reach a 100% spell suppression chance. The damage is sourced from a weapon and high attack rate. A good dagger will be especially important. Get some extra accuracy from a helmet or a weapon. Reservation efficiency, reduced mana cost of attacks, and intelligence with strength are also crucial. Blizzard Crown would be the best choice due to the added flat damage and no downside. Look here for the maximum life, Fizz taken as fire for prefixes, and chaos resistance for a suffix. Other good suffixes are accuracy and suppression. Also, remember to craft the Eldritch implicit for another Fizz taken as fire. Rare Pneumatic Dagger. Here you will need flat elemental damage combined with attack speed and dot modifiers for poison or chaos damage. It has to be the experimented type of dagger that allows you to poison with elemental damage. Prioritize attack speed, chaos damage over time, and chaos dot multiplier. Boots. Here you will need to gain a lot of chaos resistance, movement speed, and maximum life. For the remaining mods, you can get freeze avoidance prefix, if not using Arctic armor, and attributes, suppression, or resistance as suffix. On belt, get strength, maximum life, and chaos resistance. You may also afford a belt with various flask modifiers on top of that. On the Murderous Abyss jewels, you will encounter added elemental damage to attacks, which are the best mods in terms of offense. The affixes you can get on the regular jewels are increased maximum life, extra attributes, chaos resistance, and increased mana reservation efficiency. On your large cluster jewels, seek the attack notables like Fuel the Fight, Feed the Fury, and Martial Prowess for Leech and DPS. Intelligence and chaos resistance are also good to have. Spiked Concoction is a source of alchemist's genius that improves your flask effect and increases flask charges gained. It's a must-have on this medium cluster jewel because getting a belt with it will be too expensive and inefficient. Small cluster jewel. Volatile Presence increases the reservation efficiency of anger by 50%. The small node or 2 should increase your reservation efficiency as well. Progenesis shifts a portion of incoming hit damage to be taken as dot. It's expensive, but it improves your survivability considerably if you have a life leech or life recoup. As a Pathfinder, you can additionally rely on your life flask to always have some charges to quickly replenish the missing life. You also have some instant life leech and a high attack rate. For your other flasks, get a life flask that stops bleeding, jade, silver, and ruby flask. Their suffixes should increase your evasion, attack speed, and reduce the effects of curses or shock on you. Vol Lightning Strike. It's a projectile melee strike much like Frostblades or Molten Strike. We're using Lightning Strike due to its long range, good AoE, and extra pierce. Link it with elemental damage with attacks, multi-strike, unbound ailments, vicious projectiles, and returning projectiles support gems. Anger adds a lot of fire damage to attacks. Purity of Fire provides you with fire resistance and maximum fire resistance, which is important. Use Malevolence for more damage over time and increased skill effect duration. Link these 3 with Enlighten, they'll reserve less mana. Use Whirling Blades to move around quickly. Withering Step makes you elusive and applies a few withered stacks instantly. Link these with faster attacks and life tap to use Whirling Blades faster and pay no mana cost for the whole setup. Enemies marked with Poacher's Mark will instantly grant you life and mana on hit, which is good with the high attack rate that you have. It's also a 5% chance to gain a frenzy charge on hit against such targets and 100% to get one on kill. Link it with life tap and mark on hit support gems. Ancestral Protector Totem grants you more attack speed as it stays active. Deploy it during boss fights. Link it with multiple totems support and Culling Strike to kill bosses faster. Grace adds and increases evasion rating. It should reserve no mana at all with the right Owl's Uprising. Blood Rage generates frenzy charges on kill, grants life leech, and attack speed, all while slowly draining your life. Arctic Armor makes you take less physical and fire damage while stationary, and immunity to freeze. However, if you can afford to do so, switch to Petrified Blood, it reserves a bit more mana. Steelskin absorbs 70% of incoming hit damage for some time. Set it up as your movement key. Temporal Chains should be applied via the Corrupted Implicit on your gloves. It makes your poison last longer and reduces the action speed of your enemies. Be sure to anoint Whispers of Doom to make it work with the Poacher's Mark. You should definitely kill all 3 bandits for 2 additional skill points. Soul of Lunaris and Solaris are both good, depending on the type of content you're facing. For regular mapping, we'd suggest Lunaris for mobility and to avoid projectiles. Soul of Tukahama for 3% additional physical damage reduction per second you've been stationary, up to a maximum of 9%, is good if you take too much physical damage. On the passive skill tree, take poison damage, chaos dot, dagger, accuracy, attack, projectiles, leech, suppression, maximum life, mark, flasks, attack speed, and reservation efficiency nodes. One of the keystones will be transformed with lethal pride. We've also picked up maximum frenzy charges, 30 strength, and piercing shots. For life masteries, get 50 extra life and more life if there are no life mods on your body armor. Increased effect of auras as reservation mastery, 10% of leech as instant as leech mastery, 500 extra accuracy from accuracy mastery. Extra targeting for strike skills as attack mastery. Enemies cannot deal critical strikes as poison mastery. Extra maximum chaos resistance as chaos mastery, and 10% suppression chance as dagger mastery. That is all for this guide. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.